So, good day everyone. We will discussing about the socio-behavioral model of clinical social work practice. So, the objectives of the discussion will be know what socio-behavioral of clinical social work practice, and second is acquire a greater level of comprehension, and lastly the outline the distinctions between macrosystem, meso and microsystem interventions. Before we proceed, let's have a motivational quote first. So let's read everyone. The elevator to success is out of order. You'll have to use the stairs one step at a time. So it's very understandable naman no nga in life, if you want to be successful, you'll have to strive hard. For the quote, you'll have to use the stairs one step at a time. Your time will come someday. Kung imo jud time, so mas successful jud ka ana through your hard work, your dedication, and also your prayer, no? So one day you'll be successful. Okay, let's proceed. Socio-behavioral model of clinical social work. So the socio-behavioral model of clinical social work practice is based upon an integration of a social learning, social role, social resources, and ecological theories. So when we say integration, it is action of process of joining or mixing with a different group of people, no? So social learning is behavior that is learned by observing and imitating the behavior of others. Like for example, if ang bata observes their parent going to work every day, volunteering at a local community, or helping their significant other with tasks around home, so the child is likely to mimic those behaviors. Awat sa atong mga behavior nga sa behaviors ilang parents around them. And those behaviors became reinforced and most likely repeated by the individual. Social role, when we say social role, it is a set of attitudes and characteristics behavior expected of an individual, so each one of us has several social roles. And social resources, support or assistance available to a client from family, friends, neighbors, community, organizations such as civic groups, centers, and other agencies providing services to residents in the community. So when we say ecological theory, interaction and interdependence of individuals with their surrounding. So social behavior is defined as an exchange of interpersonal resources or non-cognitive, emotional, and psychological balance against denial or withdrawal of resources. So the model's intervention strategy involves, first, the enhancement of the client's personal, social, and natural resources, as well as social connectedness. And second, reduction of recovery barriers such as personal, social, and natural barriers, as well as social isolation. The clinician and client are seen as social change agents. Ano makaingon man nga social change agents ang client and clinician? Anyone at any age can be an agent of social change, because being an agent of social change is an active way to create safer, healthier future for you, your relationships, your community, and your world. Who implement this intervention strategy at micro, meso, and macro system levels. And also, social change agent role promotes client empowerment and contributes to strengthening of the social fabric. So the social behavioral model serves as a bridge between these two service orientations, which is the individual and family, and second, the community organization and social action intervention. Also, the social worker's role in encouraging client self-advocacy, community engagement, and linkage with social resources strengthens a distinctive professional role within the mental health field. Next, we have mental health recovery. Mental health recovery has been defined from different perspectives, leading to uncertainty in clinical social work practice and the general mental health field. Therefore, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration are developed a unified working definition of recovery from all mental disorders, including substance use disorder, occur when the recurrent use of alcohol or drugs causes clinically significant impairment, including health problems, disability, and failure to meet major responsibilities at work, school, or home. So there are 4 dimensions that support mental health recovery. First, we have health. It is maintaining or improving your health is the first step in making any positive change. So it involves overcoming addiction and a mentally and physically healthy way of managing the symptoms of one's disease. So I will give one way for individuals to uphold the health dimension. Abstaining from drugs and alcohol if they struggle with addiction, it can be easy to take on a new addiction to replace an old one that we felt to be more harmful, but this just creates a persistent cycle of addiction and recovery. Next, we have home. Home refers to a stable, safe, and consistent environment to live in. Having a stable home life can keep individuals out of places where they may be tempted to relapse in their recovery. It may be time to seek a new housing situation. If you are homeless, being homeless can be very difficult, both mentally and physically. If you live in an unstable environment, if you live in constant fear of upset in your current housing situation, it will be difficult to focus your attention on recovery. Next, if you live with individuals in active addiction, it can be difficult to be surrounded by addictive behavior while changing your lifestyle. No, lisod kayo magbag-uno ka ng mag-recover ka sa imong past. So, kung nay nakapalibot pud sa imo nga kanang active ki sa addiction, so lisod kay siya i-cope. And if you live with individuals who are not supportive from your recovery, it is very difficult also. And if you live with people who have been enabling your addiction, meaningful daily activities or what we call purpose. Strive for and seek out purpose that a recovering addict wakes up each day with something to do and a goal in mind. It is imperative that a recovering addict find purpose in daily activities such as work, school, volunteerism, or family. So purpose of reason for the addict to stay sober and gives them something to learn and do. So last, we have community. Community refers to the relationships and social networks that provide the recovering addict with support, love, and hope. A person's community is vital to recovery and success. So your community can be made up of anyone, but some common ways to find community include friends or family members who are supportive from your recovery, classmates, or members of a volunteer organization. So next we have the challenges of mental health recovery. There are many challenges of mental health recovery, no? Okay, it is very possible because there are many people who have to deal with mental health challenges and they need to know that it is not their fault and there is good reason to be hopeful. For too long, people were blamed and stigmatized because they had mental health challenge and they were told not to expect very much from life because they had one. So fortunately, in recent years, there has been a lot of good information available on what causes mental health challenges and that recovery is very possible. So mental health challenges can affect anyone. No, maapektuhan gid ang mga tao kung regard lang sa kanang gender, sa race, sa education, sa religion, age, sa intelligence, or sa income. No, they are not the result of personal weakness, lack of character, poor upbringing, or lack of faith. Most adults who have mental health challenge do not seek help because they fear being devalued, stigmatized, isolated, ignored, and discriminated against if it is known that they have a mental health challenge. So this is unfortunate because open medication and supports are needed, and most people who have received appropriate treatment and support get significantly better. So next slide, we have Dr. Larry W. Worley. He is a doctor of social work and a licensed clinical social worker. So Dr. Larry, or we call Larry Wayne Worley, a clinical social worker specialist in Lexington, Kentucky. So he graduated with honors from University of Maryland School of Medicine in 1978. So he have having more than 45 years diverse experience. So duwi na kay siya nga ng serbisyo, no? And he also owns an unincorporated business by himself. He also caters depression, eating disorder, relationship issues, addictions, grief, self-esteem issues, anger management, bipolar disorders, attention deficit disorder, sleeping disorder, stress, anxiety, coping with life changes, compassion, fatigue, trauma, and abuse. Family conflicts. Recovery Capital. Recovery Capital, an addiction treatment concept developed and introduced by Robert Granfield and William Cloud in 1999. So, Recovery Capital takes into account every facet of an individual's life that can either support or obstruct their recovery. It is a systemized way to address the degree and quality of the forces in one's life to help them enter and sustain recovery. Recovery capital, we have personal resources or personal strengths, what we call. Personal resources are the client's physical health, coping skills, job skills, self-management skills, knowledge insight, judgment, and rational beliefs. So enhanced personal resources contribute to resilience and a sense of personal empowerment. Next, we have agency social resources. Agency service optimally include a strong therapeutic alliance between client and therapist. So flexible appointment scheduling to accommodate working clients, use of clinical practice guidelines, and measurement-based care. Patient, skilled professional and administrative support staff, adequate facility security, language translation or interpreter services, and vouchers for food, transportation, and daycare also are valuable agency resources. And next we have social, environmental, community resources. Community resources include a variety of people, groups, organizations, and public policies that can contribute to mental health recovery. Such resources include mental health or substance use disorder agencies, child care facilities and public assistance, financial services, educational organizations, housing assistance, healthcare services, religious or spiritual institutions. Last, we have natural resources. Natural resources such as food production and clean air extend the lives of people in recovery, allowing them more opportunities for personal growth and social connectedness. It is therefore critical to focus upon the natural environment to protect resources and combat barriers such as food insecurity and pollution. Social connectedness. Social connectedness is the sense of belonging to a group, family, or community. Social resource theory. So what is social resource theory? So it is a concept of social connectedness may be understood by recovery capital and social resources theory. Both involve the social exchanges of personal and social resources. So it is a social psychological framework for understanding social interactions and the relationships that between the individuals and everyday life. Social resource exchange patterns involve the exchange of various combinations of personalized and impersonal resources. So resource exchange patterns include an intimate pattern or each partner exchanges personalized resources, a formal pattern which each role partner exchanges impersonal resources, and a mixed resource exchange pattern or one partner provides a personalized resource such as service while the other responds with an impersonal resource or money. So example, we have a barber who provides a service or what we call the haircut, receives money in return from the customer. So that is what we call a mixed exchange pattern. Social connectedness and health. Social connectedness is critical as a protective factor in physical and mental health recovery. So having a social connectedness may help reduce stress and heart-related risk. No, makatabang gid ang social connectedness sa client, no, para mas mapadali ang kanyang recovery. However, lack of social connectedness can increase health stress level and lead to behavior that increases health risk. Like for example, loneliness. So loneliness can increase the probability of early death. No, so we need to be socialized with others para maka-express sa atong opinion. Nga na, mapagawa, dili kita permi lonely. And also, social isolation and loneliness are associated with inactivity, tobacco use, other unhealthy lifestyle choices.
Good morning, everyone. Before I proceed my discussion, let me read first the motivational quote. You need to stop comparing our behind the scenes with everyone highlight, see whatever. It's on the social media or in life. It's easy to start comparing ourselves to others, especially when we're feeling particularly vulnerable. That's the truth. We often don't get to see reality behind the scene of our carefully curated Instagram or a flawless person brand. If we did, we might not feel so jealous or inferior. Okay, so let's continue the discussion. Socio-behavioral intervention. It's involved enhancement of protective factors and rejection of recovery barriers. Intervention at multiple system levels directed towards both goals. The decrease in one result in increase in one another. For example, rejection in psychiatric symptoms will enhance personal resources. Also enhance social connectiveness will reduce social isolation. Next, micro-system level intervention. We have behavioral self-management. It is a process of modifying one behavior by systematically managing cost, contrived process, and contingent consequences. It is an approach to learning and behavioral change that relies on the individual to take the initiative in controlling the change process. Number 2, self-advocacy training. Self-advocacy training of a clients within treatment program has been an innovation during the past decade. The socio-behavioral model assists clients in enhancing personal resources by learning self-advocacy, skill taking advantage of opportunities to participate in the recovery movement. Next, client and family psychoeducation. Psychoeducation sessions offer opportunities to discuss such an issue of stigma, discrimination, and need for prevention and treatment resources. There are also opportunities for the client and family members to reflect upon the information and discuss their reaction in the past, their interpersonal resources exchange. Behavioral exchange therapy is a drive from the social resources therapy and is developed in couples therapy. The method techniques role partners to identify their behavior and the behavior of the other. Each role partner is asked to identifying those resources desired from the other. Each partner is asked to specify the repair expression and the desired resources from the other. The therapist helps the couple negotiate their future. Interpersonal exchange will emphasize on avoiding negative behavior that prevents desire. Exchange. For example, a role partner may be failed to show affection or assist the other with housework. Next, clients teaching skills to others. Parents can be social resources for their children and can teach them coping techniques such as relaxation exercise and self-advocacy skills. Also, communication skills and motivational interviewing techniques maybe assist a clients in persuading family members as to attend an initial family per support meeting. Basic system level intervention. The volunteer social role. If you haven't feeling left out and lonely, volunteerism can help you associate with the right people in the society. Volunteer work has been found to enhance personal resources, such as personal resources including happiness, life satisfaction, self-esteem, a sense of control over life, and mental health. X. Peer-to-peer mutual support. Peer support encompasses a range of activities and interaction between people who have similarities experience of being diagnosed with mental health conditions. This mutuality often called fairness between a poor worker and position using service promotes and connections and inspires hope. Example, assisting one another. Next, managing of therapists. There are often curators who require service as well. Supported curators receive services such as psychoeducation. Referrals and conclusion is a session with a client permission. Protected curators are at risk for violence, abuse, neglect, or exploitation. The conflict between the therapist and the client may be emerged due to the necessity to protect individual or groups. Who are the protective curators? Clients often on treatment with reports may be increment them. Managing client social connectedness with agencies. Roles induction is the process by which a clinician ensures that a client has accurate understanding of the roles of the client and therapist before treatment begins. Effective referral and agency linkage. Referral to another practitioner may be necessary if the client has a strong reference for an approach distinctively different from the training and orientation of the socio-behavioral therapist. For example, there would be a mismatch between a socio-behavioral therapist and a client who strongly refers psychodynamic approach. Employee Assistance Program is a work-based intervention program designed to assist employees in resolving personal problems that may be adversely affecting the employee's performance. For example, child care, elder care, referral, wellness program, and counseling for crisis situation. Next, microsystem level intervention. We have behavioral self-management. It is a process of modifying one behavior by systematically managing cost, contrived process, and contingent consequences. It is an approach to learning and behavioral change that relies on the individual to take the initiative in controlling the change process.
So the summary, social behavioral therapy places a significant emphasis upon the individual as a potential social change agent. Indeed, if the person's welfare and the welfare of the surrounding environments are inseparable, then individuals' improved psychosocial functioning will positively impact the social and natural environments. On the other hand, the individual must value social connectedness and act to contribute by supporting others, volunteering, civic participation, and advocacy, so that individuals who nourish this connectedness can become agents of social change. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening and good day, everyone.